Welcome back, everyone. This is Mandy, and we're going to make this cute Beware of the Wiggle Butts door hanger. So this is the file loaded into XCS, which is XTOOL's software. I'm going to cut this on my S1 20 watt using 1/4 inch MDF for the backer, and we'll use 1/8 inch MDF or 3 millimeters MDF for everything that goes on the top. So all I'm really doing here is kind of showing you my process. So I already have a 12-inch round cut. So I added these little circle dots at the top so that I can have something to put my macrame twine through. If you wanted to use ribbon, you could also cut like little slats. I got this file on Etsy, so I did not create it. I will try to remember to link the listing in the description box. And I think this is such a cute sign. So anyway, I'm just sizing it to make sure that it matches my 12-inch round. And then what I will do is I will score the design on the actual backer so that when we put the pieces on, we can align them. The top is going to have 3M double-sided tape. So once we, put it down, it's pretty easy to put down. So what I'm basically doing is I'm keeping things on a different layer. So I think I'm going to cut the Beware on 1/4 inch MDF, and then I'm going to do everything else on the 1/8 inch. So I'm going to put it on a different layer, meaning a different color. So if I want to have different settings, I can tell XTOOL, ignore the red or whatever for now. So for the very first thing we're going to do, we're just going to cut our circles out and score the background. I like to have a deep score. So for me, 90% power, 20% speed, or 20 speed is nice for scoring because you get a nice deep score. So when you paint over it, you can find it again. To cut 1/4 inch MDF using my 20 watt, my cut settings are 100% power, 3 speed, and 2 passes, and then lower the focus of the laser by 3 millimeters. Works great for me. I do it with 2 passes. And then my settings to cut the 1/8 inch are 100% power, 6 speed. I still lower the focus, but only 1 pass. So anyway, this should be fun. I'm just kind of showing you how I'm setting up the file. It's been a while since I did this. So what I typically do is I open up the file. I kind of see how the creator has it laid out. And then I make a copy of it so that I don't mess up the original one. And then I kind of manipulate it how I'm going to use it. And if you're new to using XTOOL, you will get used to the software. It is user-friendly. It just takes a little bit of time to kind of figure out where everything is. So what's difficult sometimes to tell about a file like this is usually there is a plain circle to cut out the background, but you can't always see it very easily until you dig in a little. All right, so we've cut the circle and the holes. I did go ahead and let it cut the circle because if there was a chance it was a hair off, I didn't want it to affect this part. So I just got the circle as close to the 12-inch round size as I could. That way I wasn't wasting any wood, you know what I mean? So now we're going to score these areas. So in my previous project, I got really deep scoring with 60 power. I think it was that project. And it was maybe a little too deep, so I'm going to try 50, right? And then we're going to score wiggle butts, and I have 2, so I'm going to assume lots of people have 2, so let's do 55, 20, okay, and I'm going to go ahead and score this even though it's going to be cut. Well, no, I'm not. We're going to leave that off. Also, I'm forgetting to tell so this is how you're telling XTOOL that you're going to take action on this, is it's going to the output, right? If it's not green, it's basically set to ignore, so we need to take it off the ignore. So now we're going to score this part too. So 55, 21, and we're going to go ahead and set this to score. And then after we score it on the board, then we can basically take our circle off and we'll cut this part, this part, this part, and this part with 1/8 inch MDF, and we will use the 3M backer to make it easier to apply. But first we're going to score it so that we have an idea of where it's supposed to go, because it's all fun and games until you try to put it on straight, right? Okay. So our material hasn't changed, so this should be pretty easy. And if you're not familiar with XCS, you can hit this play button and it'll show you basically the path it's going on. You can see how it goes all over the place. But we're not going to do that because it's a waste of time for today. But in case you're new, that's one of the things that you can do. From here, we would normally hit framing to see that everything is aligned, but we've already done that and we haven't moved anything. So we're just going to hit start. Okay, so I think I like the 60 scoring, so I'm going to go ahead and change that. And in case I forget to show you, I picked it, I went ahead and paused it. I paused it and checked how deep it was engraving, and I wanted it to go a little deeper, and then I accidentally moved the board. So if I remarked the circle, but that doesn't mean it's going to be exactly where we want it to be. So the bright side is, if we have to, we can just turn it over. But I'm going to try just like this. So I'm going to change it to 60. I also realized that when I did these settings on my previous sign, it was after I had engraved it and it was not deep enough. So 60 may not be too powerful. We actually may need to be more powerful because I was basically engraving scoring twice. Anyway, hope that makes sense. Let's go again. Okay, so now we're going to tape the back and set all this to cut. I want to make sure that this cuts, but not in the same place. And then this and this. So 2 passes, and then, oh, wrong thing. 103, 2, lower the focus. I think I'm going to move the circle out. I'm going to go ahead and group this and move this out so that I can see where this square is going to fall. So we're going to need, if we were to put all of this together, we're going to need about a little over 12 inches of tape. Actually, I don't need tape for this, so we'll skip that part and then do, sorry if you can hear my dog, and then do this part, so about 11 inches wide and about 9.5 inches of tape. And then I will cut this first or last, one of the two. So yeah, that's the plan. I'm probably going to cut this first, then work on the tape for this and cut this separate. So if we do that, we'll do this, and then I will put these on the ignore list for now and cut that in just a second. I didn't even set this. Hello. And then we'll give it a go. And then all I have to do when I'm ready is just set it to cut. So for now, it's just going to be this guy. So that is basically 12 wide by 3.5. Oh, I just realized I'm setting this for 1/4 inch MDF and not 1/8 inch. Okay. That should be right. Let me check. Okay, so it should be 100% speed. I mean, 100% power, 4 speed, one pass, and I still lowered the focus, but only by 2 millimeters. So okay, so let's make sure this is right. Change this to 2, and I'll adjust these in a second, and then here we go. I just realized I need to put this back down here. What was I thinking? I need it to cut in the exact right spot. Oh, I haven't framed this next one, so it doesn't matter. Okay. Okay, so sometimes I use my airbrush and sometimes I don't. But when you have more than one thing that you're painting that's the same color, it kind of makes sense. So I'm using this color from Colourarte called Bit of Honey, and I'm using it in my airbrush with a little bit of thin fluid, which I have from Colourarte called Vivid Art Fluid. So I'm just going to do this B for a different project and the bottom of this sign. So I'm going to speed this way up. And so at the time that I was doing this, I was actually working on about 3 different signs at one time. So I kind of did this for all of them. You may see that B on a different porch leaner sign in the future, but that is the bottom for our sign. And in this case, this dark teal color is actually for a different welcome sign, but I'm using the same color for Beware. And this color is really beautiful. I'm trying to remember right now what it's called, but I really like it. As you can tell, this was airbrush day. I worked on several things at the same time that I worked on this. But yeah, might as well be efficient, right? So I really wish I could remember what that color is. I really love it. It's really dark on the wood, but it's a beautiful color. If I wasn't trying to tell you what it was, I could tell you. Anyway, so let's put the sign together now. Okay, so let's put this wiggle butt sign together. So I painted this part with some white that was tinted with some leftover chocolate paint that I had used in my airbrush, which is actually the same thing I rubbed on here. So that's this part. And we've got our little holes for our macrame cord. This is where our little banner is. This is the only thing I don't have the tape on. So for this, I painted a blue-black color. For this, we're going to use this. We're going to use the Star Bond. I'm going to use the thick, and we're going to use the accelerator. So the accelerator causes this to cure instantly. Otherwise, this takes some time. You have to be very careful that you know exactly where you want this to go, because your repositioning time is a lot less. So the way this works is, and I'm explaining it, most of you already know, but I'm explaining it because when I first started, I was like, what is an activator? So basically, you spray this on one surface and you put glue on the other. Now you want the glue to go on the thing that is easiest to control, how you're moving it, etc. So I think I'm going to put the glue on this and put the accelerator on this. My very first one I ever did, which was the Welcome Suckers sign, I used the thinner one of the Star Bond, and I couldn't even get the stuff on fast enough before it was already trying to dry, and I ended up with dried up glue. Anyway, so I learned that the 3M tape is worth the expense, because when you're dealing with the super detailed stuff, like, you need repositioning ability, you know. But for stuff like this, I don't see any need for wasting 3M for such a big space. Now, if I was mass producing these, I wouldn't worry about that. But, so I just kind of let it sit on top for a second, make sure it's where I want it, and then go ahead and press lightly. But anyway, I decided that this is worth it for the, oh, see, I missed it, and it's on there. It's a little bit too far this way, just a little bit, but that's fine. But it's on there now. It works that fast. And this is the thicker one, so because it's thicker, it has a little bit more, you know, holding power. So this is the banner that the Wiggle Butts goes on. So, It's a little bit off on one side. I think my round might have been a little bit bigger than the design, but that's fine. Okay, so now that we've got our banner on, we're going to put the bottom on, so that very bottom section is dry, my top section is dry, my wood piece in the middle is glued on. So now I'm just peeling the 3M off of the bottom, and I really love the way that bit of honey color looks with the blue black. Really beautiful color combination. And that Beware is that dark teal color. It's hard to tell until you see this more up close, but it is that darker color. What is it called? It's bugging me. I'm actually working on a geode that I'm going to use that color on. It is, whatever. And so Wiggle Butts, we're going to do white. Figured it would be a nice pop of color up against that blue black banner. And then I think I used black macrame to hang it, so it would be a nice pop of a darker color at the top. But yeah, this sign actually sold over the weekend, and I was so happy because it was one of my favorite ones I've ever made, because who doesn't love their little pets? And we have our own little Wiggle Butts here. As soon as I make a smaller solicitation sign, I will probably put a Wiggle Butts sign on our door, or this really cute fall sign I just made. Who knows? But yeah, now we're going to put this on. Okay, so what you probably can't see very well is that I'm peeling tape, and then we'll finish putting everything together with our little Wiggle Butts. All right, and it's on there. Let me show you a close-up. All right, thanks so much for your patience. Here it is. Off camera, I always spray seal it with like a clear satin spray just to help it be protected from the elements. And then I will run the macrame twine through the little holes. And then I do list it on Etsy. It is for sale. Well, not this one because somebody bought this one, but I can make these to order. And they're super cute. And don't forget to check out the description box below if you're thinking about getting your own laser. Use my link. I think you'll enjoy it. It's fun. Bye.